All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Josiah, and we're going to read between the lines on what Dan Campbell has to say in today's press conference. We're going to see what he's saying, see what he's not saying, and get to the truth. Let's hear him out.
How's everybody doing?
How are you?
Good. Vaki yesterday, got poked in the eye, broken nose, so he's going to be out for a little bit here. We're hopeful, vision should be okay in time. We're not going to have him here today. Just going to let him kind of recover a little bit. So we think he'll be okay. He's just going to need a minute here. It's just one of those freak things. Somehow, a hand gets through the face mask. It was unbelievable. Ferk, he's got a fractured fibula, so he'll be out, obviously. And then Keys had a little bit of a hammy. So got Horton back today to tight end position, and we move on. Day 2 of pads here, and, I thought it was competitive. I thought there were some really good things yesterday, man. I thought the D-line came off the ball. They looked like they took the sled work to team, and that was good to see. So I'm looking forward to the offense responding today. It'll be good.
Okay, too.
Is that good? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Pads, come on, Dan. Obviously, the eyes gravitate toward the big guys because you can't evaluate anything until those pads come out. What did you like? You mentioned the defensive line. What else did maybe pop out to you? What did you like about the pads coming on with those guys in the trenches?
Well, it just makes it real, right? And that's the first thing that always happens on one side of the ball is when you put the pads on, you think you're playing low. You think you're doing the drill work until you get somebody on you, and now we all got our pads on, and the pad level really becomes important, and you have to get a taste of it before you realize, and it'll adapt. Players will adapt and adjust off of it. Like today, you're going to see guys play lower today, and so that O-line's going to play lower. Well, then the D-line's going to have to get under them to play. So it's just good, man. That's how you get better, and it gets competitive. But, man, I love the violence of it, the way these guys played. I thought they were aggressive. I thought we were smart, though, too, without, we don't want to do anything stupid. But, I thought it was what we were looking for the first day. And it wasn't very long. There weren't very many reps. We'll amp the reps up today. It'll be a little bit longer and get some good periods in.
Vaki out, obviously. Some opportunities for some guys behind him on the depth chart. You guys clearly liked what you saw in Sailors all last year. He looks a little quicker, maybe a little leaner. He was coming off that UFL season last year.
Yep.
How is he different, I guess, coming into this camp after having a couple big plays in camp yesterday?
Just so you know, so Vaki, who has been talked about, the one who had the freak accident where his nose was broken, that's one of the backup running backs. And now they're talking about Jacob Sailors, who is the 4th string running back technically, and he's been around this is like his 2nd season, so he's still young. The guy talked about him coming out of the UFL, so interesting background there.
Well, he's been in our system now. He got a full year with us. He's banked a lot of reps, particularly on special teams. But he's been in that room. I mean, he's been in there with Choice and Gibbs and Montgomery, and now this year with Zay. But he knows the system, and he's a smart guy. He's conscientious. And so that's always going to help when you come into camp. You're like, all right, man, now I know why we're doing what we're doing, what we're asked to do, the calls, all of that. He looks much more comfortable. And he's got ability. I mean, you see it. He's got ability. So, he's about to get, this is a great opportunity for him. This is a great opportunity. So, it'll be good to see, and small too. I mean, obviously Zay is Zay. That guy's a stud, man. I'm glad he's here. But man, you talked about Sailors, and Small is doing some things, and he's doing some things on special teams too, man. Low to the ground, center of gravity. He's stout. He's strong. He's got lateral quick. So pretty good, man. You guys are going to get a pretty good look here.
Lions fans, y'all can correct me, but I believe when he's saying Zay, he's talking about Isaiah Pacheco.
Stay with the running back position real quick. The big news of the morning, Bijan Robinson got his extension. How much do you hope, or do you think that can expedite the process with Jameer?
How much do I hope?
So this reporter is saying Bijan Robinson from the Falcons just got his extension, and so how much do you hope that's going to impact things with Gibbs? That's kind of a silly question to me, but let's see what Dan says.
Are you really asking that? How much do I
Yeah.
hope it
Okay.
helps to
You
get?
think
That's
that
stupid.
Bijan getting his deal will speed up this process?
I mean, I think it's certainly not going to hurt. I mean, it's not going to hurt. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. Look, I'm anxious to get Gibbs back out there. Every day that goes by, you know, that's another day that you feel like you miss with him and getting him out there with the guys and him being doing his part. So, but there again, man, it'll get done when it gets done.
There's been a lot of moving pieces along the offensive line. One of the guys who kind of brings continuity at his position is Tate. What have you liked about the way he's kind of come back after his first full offseason?
Yeah,
It's the right guard, starting right guard.
I love where Tate came back in the spring. Looked good. You could tell he worked all through that time, and then certainly being in a building with us, he looked much more comfortable, more confident. And then he showed up at camp, man, in great shape. I mean, you could just tell, man, he's worked and he's trying to be conscientious. One of the things we talked about for him was, obviously consistency. That's what when you're a rookie, but the pad level, and it's still, it's up and down, but you can tell he's trying and he wants to do it. And because when he bends, and you got to bend when you got Aleem McNeil across from you and Tyleek. Those guys, low center of gravity, and they can get under you, and they're quick as heck. And so, I mean, that's a blessing to be able to go against Aleem every day. That you got to be on it. But, man, his attitude is right. You can tell that, he came in saying, I want to be much better than I was last year. I'm going to clean a lot of this stuff up. And everything I've seen to this point has been good. I mean, he looks good. I'm glad he's here.
He did, what is it called, a compliment sandwich there, where he was like, he's been looking really good. He has some stuff to work on, but he's been freaking great. So he did give us one of those. But I always trust Dan Campbell. He's a pretty honest coach. And it's to be expected with a young guard. He was drafted in 2025. He's going to come in rough. You want consistency. Year 2, you want to see him get stronger, be more consistent, work on pad level, all things he's saying. And so the fact that he has the right attitude, it's so early on in preseason, that's someone you can work with, and you always appreciate that, especially in the O-line.
So far, Greg Dortch.
Excuse me.
He surprised you at all, Dortch, with the way he's playing, or is this what you expected?
Well, there again, until we really get into a lot more of some of these team settings, particularly in the return game.
And he's asking about Greg Dortch, one of the receivers.
I want to be careful, but just watching his movement skills and the drill work as a returner, and even some of the little things as a receiver, it's even better than I thought. Just, there's things about him. I mean, you watch him maneuver through some of these drills, and it looks pretty good. So that's pretty exciting, Like Dortch, he's working. He's wants to be one of the guys and adapt to what we do and how we do it. And I think every day he gets a little bit better and learns how we go through and do what we do.
Yeah, Greg Dortch is a solid receiver. He's someone who will probably get you 2 or 3 touchdowns this season because people forget about him. And he's a solid route runner too, so not a bad addition.
We saw Devin White mix in with the first team defense yesterday. I know it's early with him
New linebacker.
still, but how do you maybe see him fitting into this defense?
Well, obviously the will linebacker is something that suits him very well. Just his body type, the type of linebacker he's been in our system too. I mean, the system suits him. So, I thought yesterday, there was a couple of wild plays in there. I mean, one, he came downhill and just, that's what we expect. And he can still run. You can see that. And so we just get his weight down a little bit and, make sure that we continue to work him into practice, be smart with him, and then see where he can go with it. But it's an opportunity, so.
Dang, I was talking to someone the other day, and they're talking about Devin White, and I was like, yeah, he's still relatively young, rough around the edges. They're like, bro, he's been in the league since, 2019, and I was like, damn, I'm getting old. I remember when he was drafted, and I was terrified, because, I'm a Panthers fan, and he went to the Bucks, but he's someone who has given up some, explosive plays. He's gotten a little bit slower, but like Dan's saying, I still think he can be good. And especially if he gets in shape, he's still running fast. He attacks hard. Personally, I want to see him study a little bit more just so he's not getting, targeted as often. But I do think he could be a surprise for the Lions this year.
Practice yesterday.
Well, I'm sorry, say it again.
When you opened padded practice yesterday, you did the kind of one-on-one tackling drill that we've seen a lot, but not live tackling, as I think we've seen on the first day of padded practices before. Kind of what went into that decision?
Well, yeah, it was, all right, let's just do it to where these guys get a feel. It's crazy how you saw that drill, how under control and all this. And then the minute you say, okay, hey, it's live, even though the runner cannot run you over, you're not allowed to. You cannot run over the tackler in that drill. That's not what we want is collision. You get one move. But the minute you do that, all of a sudden, a lot of techniques change. Now, some of them don't. Some of these guys are on point, but it's amazing. So, man, let's get it, go through it a couple times. The other thing is there were some guys I held out of that drill last year and they got some juice and they got some cuts and they got some. So by not doing it live, you get them and keep them in the drill, which works, the tackler a little bit. So we will get to that drill and do it live for you, Jeremy. It is coming, my friend. I'm telling you. I'm glad that you're looking at that's good stuff. So, yeah.
At this time last year, a lot of people were curious about what you had in Isaac to slot. Then we saw the one-handed catches, the touchdowns. I'm just curious, in year 2, what does progress look like for him in another new offense?
Well, more growth, It can't just be that. It can't just be down the field one-handed. It can't be, he's got to expand his route tree. He's got to get better at those things. And that's growth into the second year. I mean, that's part. Look, the guy is smart. He busts his tail. He's going to block in the run game. But now some of it is, work at the line of scrimmage, Some of it is once I get into this route, is at the top of the route, some of these digs, maybe it's slant, maybe. And so that's kind of the next progression, man, because we don't see him. He's not just we don't just see that. Okay, this is all this guy does. Now, with every player we have, what do they excel at? And we're going to ask him to do a lot of those things, but we see more than that with him. We think this guy can run the tree, and then he's just got to work through it, every day like everybody else.
Every coach is going to hype up their receiver, especially like a young receiver, on what they can be and where they can grow. But I do like the focus on, like, hey, we want to make sure you're not just this type of receiver. We're going to utilize you in a lot of different ways. And I think that keeps players excited. And it makes the offense even more explosive when you already have solid weapons from guys like Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams, etc.
Out of him, is he still doing everything, all the other little things? Has he improved in those areas that you guys see behind closed doors that maybe we miss in camp, that is, running the routes?
Well, I think there's things right now.
In camp, that is, he improved in those areas that you guys see behind closed doors that maybe we miss? The other little things, has he improved in those areas that out of him? Is he still doing everything, all the other little things? Has he improved in those areas that you guys see behind closed doors that maybe we miss in camp, that is, running the routes?
Well, I think there's things right now, like even some of the one-on-one stuff, it's when you start getting into some technique stuff and you're a young player, it's a lot like golf. Look, who you guys play golf? Anybody? Okay, I don't either. All right, so, but apparently it, man, if you're off just a little bit with your technique, everything it's perfect and you're in the flow and you can feel it, but all of a sudden, if one thing gets off just a little bit and you kind of get in this, there's a little bit of this funk, right? And then you're trying to solve the issue, and so you change your swing a little bit, and then you've corrected the wrong way, and now and that's what comes with all this, and it comes with all these players too. I mean, and so I would say there's a little bit of that right now. He's just, he's working, and Scotty's working with him, and so he'll get there, man. The guy works his tail off, but that's what practice is about. Okay.
Man, how can you not want to play for Dan Campbell? I wish I knew who they were talking about on that last question, but I couldn't catch it. But he you can just tell he always believes in people as long as they have good effort and they're trying. And I'm sure he pushes you like hell in camp, but that's the kind of coach you want to play for. Good stuff, Dan Campbell. You know, there's not too many question marks for the Lions, but I'm curious to know what y'all think. Let me know how you're feeling about the Lions. Like, subscribe if you would like to. If not, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.